giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Friday. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports live on this beautiful Friday, streaming live on YouTube. And of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker. Still, boom. Oh, it's Friday, and I got a jam-packed show for you guys. We're going to touch on that buzzword, draft and develop. I want to talk about 4 players from that 2022 class that needs to step up, that needs to take that developmental step for the Cowboys to take their next step as well. Plus, we've got our insider joining us later on in the show. Just want to touch on some of this contractual stuff going on down there in Dallas, as well as play a little game of this or that. Also in the roundup, we did get some real news that went down the other day, but I'm going to give my take on something that I don't really see being mentioned around said signing, Cowboys Nation. Or should I say Bomb Squad? What's good with you?
Bomb Squad!
It's Mania week, and we're going to have a little fun with that today. We're going to have a little fun with it later on with Pat as well. And in fact, at the top of the hour. So I need to get right into this thing because I do want to tease the meat and potatoes of the show. And then we're going to wrap the Pat. And coming out of that, we're going to touch on the 4 players that I wanted to discuss, which you guys should know 3 of them. The 4th one is a bit of a curveball, but we'll get to it. But appreciate y'all for being here. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here this morning rocking with your boy. I'm doing well, Miss Jackie. Shouts out to everybody in the chat. You guys are the best. Let's jump right into it because when Pat come on here, you know, we want to make sure we get every last minute we can out of him on today's show. With that said, let's do it.
It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time!
It's time.
It is time for.
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Let me talk to you.
Oh, brother. So the Cowboys dropped a banger right after the Houston Texans traded for Brandon Cooks. With that trade was a little interesting, but they traded for Brandon Cooks, and the Cowboys said, hold my beer. Breaking news. The Dallas Cowboys re-signed offensive lineman Chuma Edoga.
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy. You get your goddamn ugly ass.
No, I'm just playing. Shouts out to Chuma getting the bag. You know, he got some guaranteed money. 1-year deal, probably vet minimum when all the details come out. But let me say this, because, you know, I reposted a video from an in-game tweet back in December where, you know, Chuma glitches, and he glitched. And that started to make the circulations again. Here's the thing with Chuma, y'all. To me, he's just a low-level backup with experience who is a replaceable player. That's what he is. But this is what Todd Archer said when dropping this news. This is per Todd Archer, quote, "The Cowboys felt he was better at tackle than guard a year ago." Huh? I'll say it again. The Cowboys thought he was better at tackle than guard a year ago, and it covers them as a swing tackle at the very least.
What?
Chuma had 4 games he started at left tackle last year. He gave up 3 sacks and 13 pressures in those games. And he had a couple glitches too. I personally don't think he was particularly good at either spot, tackle or guard, but if I had to put him at one, it damn sure wouldn't be tackle. Now, I'm not going to use this to shit on Chuma the entire time. He had moments of serviceable play, right? He's not a starter. He's a backup, and backups are going to come in and not going to be as good as starters for the most part. And he had some moments of that, but he also had moments where he had these weird glitches, and it resulted in Dak getting hit and free rushers just coming after Dak. So I don't agree with the tackle thing. Even if you move him to guard, he wasn't moving people a lot. He didn't get to the second level well. I think he's a low-level backup player that has the experience, especially in this offense, so they're bringing him back. But in no way, shape, or form should this stop them from addressing the offensive line early in the draft. Not at all. I'll pretend he's not even here. Here's what I do find interesting, though, Cowboys Nation. Here's what I do find interesting. I wonder what this means for a guy like Awesome Richards. He didn't play a whole lot, right? Like Awesome Richards only played a handful of games, a handful of snaps, but he did play the same exact position that Chuma did, left tackle, and some snaps at left guard, but he also practiced at left tackle and left guard. You would hope your 5th round pick just last year, younger guy, you would hope that guy, they saw something in Awesome Richards to surpass Chuma Edoga or say, hey, we will take our chance with his development and his ceiling, then bring back, in my opinion, again, a low-level backup that is a replaceable player. Not saying that he didn't have good reps or whatever, but he is a very replaceable player. I wonder, though, what does this mean for Awesome? Because a lot of people are high on Awesome. I'm neither high or low. I'm just, hey, he's got to continue to develop. And that's exactly what he's going to do. He's only going into year 2, and he's going to continue to develop. And we'll have a conversation about Awesome probably next year when he hits this year 3 season. But he won't be at the forefront of our conversation this morning. No. I want to talk about that year 3 leap that Coach McCarthy often talks about, right? You'll hear him say, hey, we are relying on our young guys to develop. I think that matters even more for a team like the Cowboys because, they don't do anything in free agency. And this was McCarthy speaking on said development. I believe it was at not the combine, league meetings last week. Here it is.
If you're progressing and the value of your players is increasing, the economics of your football teams is never going to be the same year to year. So I get what the numbers say, but the reality of it is, from my experiences, you got to really develop from within. And the biggest improvement that we'll have as a football team is the development of our young players.
That's big. And of course it's big because the Cowboys don't do a lot for agency or trade, so they need these guys to step up. And when you go look at the draft class, we did this project last year as well. You go look at these draft classes, like 2020, for instance. What I like to look at, because McCarthy always brings up year 3. This is going to be the 3rd class for McCarthy where he's going to have a year 3 marker under him. 2020 and 2021. And in those 2 classes in 2020 and 2021, he got 3 All-Pros, right? You say, oh man, that's an amazing hit. Fair, it is. CeeDee Lamb, Trayvon Diggs, Micah Parsons. But when you look around those picks, 18 picks, when you look around those 3 picks, how many of these guys have taken the year 3 leap? So I wanted to take a look. Probably only Tyler Biadasz. And he's not even on the team anymore. So CeeDee Lamb, Trayvon Diggs remain from the 2020 class. Then you go look at the 2021 class. 11 picks. 11. Got 2 starters out of those picks, right? Obviously, Micah Parsons, all-pro, all-world. And Osa Odigizua, who I love Osa, right? But I think it's fair to say that Osa didn't necessarily take the year 3 jump to remove all doubt. We kind of want to see Osa start off and finished in a similar fashion because he's kind of had the same trajectory every year. It'll be the first two to like 5 games, and then he's kind of, but he still has good film. But from a production standpoint, can you say last year he took that massive year 3 leap? I wouldn't say that. I still think he had a good year. He just didn't take the massive year 3 leap. Look at the rest of the class. Forniak, Bohanna, Jabril Cox, Fehoko, they're not even on the team anymore. Josh Ball, Nashawn Wright are round 3 and 4 misses. Mukwamu had a good second year, but then last year he got leaped by an undrafted free agent. Golston, who I like, can't quite find, at least under Dan Quinn, couldn't quite find his footing to be a key cog in the rotation week in, week out. Kelvin Joseph was traded. When you have 11 picks and you only hit on 2, that's a problem. And that's no disrespect to Mukwamu and Golston. It's just both of these guys are going into the final years of their deals. And let's be honest, are we really signing them back? I'm not running to sign these guys back right now. Then you look at the 2022 class. It is imperative for a handful of these dudes to complement the headliners. And we're talking about Tyler Smith. We're talking about Deron Bland, all pros, and Jake Ferguson, who I think has next. But as good as those guys are, because Dallas relies on the draft, we need a few of these other guys to hit. And that leads me to today's conversation, where we're going to talk about 4 players that need to take the leap. 3 of them are drafted, 1 of them is not. And if they do take that leap, at the very least, the Cowboys will either maintain the success in the regular season or they'll level up. But before we do that, let's get into our weekly segment of the scientific method. And because it is WrestleMania week, it's only right.
If you smell what The Rock is cooking.
Welcome in Patrick No C Walker of DallasCowboys.com. What's good, my brother?
To the scientific side. Had my week off last week. We back in the building, my guy. What are we doing? How we looking? How we cooking?
Oh man, I'm feeling amazing. Look, I would love to
Look
sit
how
here.
you brought me in, man. Like,
I know,
bro. Is there anything you can't do? Like, come on, man. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to be clear on this. First and foremost, if you follow Steele and myself, then you know we are 2 rabid pro wrestling fans,
Yes.
and have been lifelong. But we are both just beyond amped for Mania weekend. I wake up this morning, and when I tell you life is about, sometimes just waking up in the right mood with the right space and the right people provide you the right energy. Still had a text waiting for me as soon as I woke up, and it was this video. And when I tell you, I could not have been more ready to start today. Let's cook. Let's talk Cowboys. Let's talk Mania. Let's talk about all the good things.
Let's cook, baby. Let's cook. I'm fired up, and I want to get right into Mania, but we're gonna save that for the end. It's only right to do so. Let's kind of take care of some house cleaning first. And I kind of talked about this the other day in regard to Ezekiel Elliott, but for me, Pat, the national media seems to be recycling the same damn reports or narratives surrounding contract talks in Dallas, right? Mainly Dak Prescott's, but all types of contract talks, including Dak and CD Lamb, who was in the mix for an extension. Your boots on the ground, just like you were for Ezekiel Elliott. And you usually drop these things prior to the national media. Can you, once and for all, give a boots on the ground update on these contract negotiations?
You know, as I was trying to enjoy my mental break last week, you know, I couldn't help but kind of peek in and see, you know, if there were any misleadings going on as far as Cowboys news, because inevitably there will be. And I was not surprised when I saw that. That's exactly what occurred. Yeah. So a couple of outlets, a couple of national guys, and then one local guy. When you put breaking in front of something, that doesn't necessarily mean anything is breaking. That doesn't mean anything's new. The fact of the matter is, from the same information that I reported, I want to say on Dak 2 weeks ago, it was Zeke 3 weeks ago, when I reported that the mutual interest was there between Zeke and the Cowboys, and not to close the door on that possibility, and that there's, you know, some open dialogue there. Nothing new there. There's still open dialogue with Zeke, and there's still very much a possibility. Money on the table, I think that it would be, if they were to make that move, whether it be Ezekiel Elliott or J.K. Dobbins, I don't think they're interested in making that move until after the draft and they see how things shake out there. But it's still very much on the table. When it comes to Dak Prescott, my update from 2 weeks ago was that, of course, Dak reworked his contract a little bit, and it's different from a restructure because they would not have needed his permission for a restructure, but It was a rework, and they freed up several million more dollars for them to not use whatsoever, but we'll get to that later. But the contract negotiations are ongoing. So the update is that there is no new update. Things are still moving along. Dak is not pressed to get the deal done right now. The Cowboys are not pressed to get the deal done right now. I think that they should be, but the fact is they're not. So things are still kind of flowing slowly in that direction, right? So that's the latest with Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. I know there was some wording out there that says, okay, this clears the path, quote unquote, for Dak to become a free agent in 2025. As we have this conversation, neither side wants that to occur. So no update, no change there. Both sides really want to get the deal done. They're just simply not pressed to do it at this exact moment. When it comes to CeeDee Lamb, the Cowboys and CeeDee's representation have been in talks for nearly a year now. It's ramping up. It is ramping up. But that being said, there's nothing imminent at the moment. Again, this is not a situation where the Cowboys, as we have this conversation, what's today's date? April 5th? Yeah. They're not pressed on April 5th. Now, I want everyone to keep in mind, though, look at what happened last summer, right? The Cowboys are getting pretty well versed in holding off and then getting their deals done when? July, training camp. Talk about Trevon Diggs, talk about reworking Zach Martin, talk about Donovan Wilson, Malik Hooker. So I believe that training camp will be a good marker. Terrence Steele as well. I believe training camp will be a great marker this offseason to see how many and which deals they can get done. So that's the latest on those three, if you count Ezekiel Elliott. Still movement in the positive direction for CeeDee Lamb, still moving in the positive direction for Dak Prescott, still moving in a positive direction for potentially adding Ezekiel Elliott back to the fold. But for those that are looking at the possible reunion with Zeke and saying to themselves, oh, man, what are we doing here? Keep in mind, that would not be the sole move. It would be Zeke tandemed with a draft pick. So that could be a third-round pick, or if they were able to get another third-round pick, maybe trade back and get a fourth-round pick, which we'll talk about here in a bit, then you could be looking at it in that aspect. So it would be Zeke and a draft pick plus Rico Dowdle. So that's the latest what's going on with the contracts.
Yeah, Patrick Nosey Walker of DallasCowboys.com joining us, as always, every week. There's more discourse going around social media, and right now it's surrounding one Tyler Smith. Right? What should the Cowboys do? Because he is multiple. He's played left tackle. I think he did a good job his rookie year. He's played left guard last year, all pro. McCarthy comes out. He says he's a guard right now. Stephen Jones comes out. He says, well, don't rule out tackle. So we're going to play a little game. And we're going to start off with this or that. Tyler Smith, left tackle for you or left guard?
The choice is yours. You can get with this or you can get with that.
Oh, man, you cut that short. I started to rock. For me, and I am on the record, I'm standing on this hill, and I'm dying on this hill, for lack of a better way to say it. I've got the receipts to show that this is the hill I'm on. Tyler Smith is your left guard. He is your future potential Hall of Fame left guard, and that's where I want him to play. That's why I wanted Tyron Smith to remain in the building to create that bridge for the Cowboys to select an offensive tackle with a top pick to then put that person into play for 2025 and maybe at points in 2024 when inevitably Tyron Smith was this time. That was going to give you the best package to the left side of center as humanly possible. Now, does that mean that Tyler Smith cannot play left tackle? Of course, it would be disingenuous to say that. I think he would still be a Pro Bowl left tackle. But there's a difference between being a Pro Bowl left tackle, which is damn good, by the way, and a potential Larry Allen at left guard. So I want to see him put in the position where he can succeed the most and his ceiling could be pushed the highest, and that's going to be left guard for me. So for me, even without Tyron Smith, you're still going to go offensive tackle high in the draft. And from there, you just got to hope that guy maybe can come in and immediately contribute as opposed to having a bridge to try to wait until 2025 or spots in 2024 to kind of get his feet wet.
Am I being messy if I say it sounds like the coaches know what they want to do with them, but the front office is using or leveraging his versatility? Because Steven says one thing and McCarthy says, oh, no, he's a guard now. And then Steven says, well, we don't know what he's going to be.
No, I think that's exactly right. I think when you look at it from a front office aspect, the front office would have liked to have Tyron Smith back 100%. That being said, they didn't want to pay what the Jets were willing to pay, even with those incentives structured in that deal. They simply didn't want to pay it. I don't necessarily agree with not giving an incentive-laden deal because that's exactly what I would have given him. That's what I said beforehand I would have given him is a deal that, rewards him greatly for staying on the field the entire season, knowing full well that the likelihood of him doing so is minimal. So you probably weren't going to pay that max anyway, but here we are. But you lose Tyron Smith, and if you're the front office, now you have to do damage control. You just lost a future first ballot Hall of Fame left tackle who's coming off of a Pro Bowl caliber or a Pro Bowl season, and he's resurgent. You've unlocked him in the late part of his career by not, practicing him and figuring out that formula. And then he goes elsewhere. And now you're stuck with this huge void. And the only thing that you can reasonably say to yourself if you're the front office is, well, that sucks, but at least we know what Tyler Smith looks like at left tackle, and let's see how this shakes out. But if you're Mike McCarthy and you're the coaching staff, you're like, yeah, that's not what we want to do. We wanted to keep Tyron Smith. You didn't keep Tyron Smith. And we want you to figure out how to get us our future left tackle in the draft, preferably first round, and unless it's, Jackson Powers Johnson. And if you do that, then that allows us, the coaching staff, to keep the player in a position where his ceiling is the highest, which is the left guard.
And look, they signed Chuma, the other day. But let's get this on record here. Your boots on the ground, you're insider. Does Chuma, and I know it doesn't, but just so this is on record, you're not hearing anything down there that says, hey, Chuma is insurance in case XYZ doesn't happen, or is that the case?
Stop it.
I just want to get on record. That's all. I just want to get somebody down there on the inside on record.
So here we are. The view on re-adding or re-signing Chuma on a second 1-year deal is that he's serving as insurance right now, right? He's insurance against what happens or does not happen in the draft as far as how the board falls, and we'll see how it goes. He's insurance against injury going into training camp when you look at the depth pieces, because we're still looking to figure out, where's Awesome Richards in this equation? Because he earned 0 snaps last season as a rookie 5th-round pick who allowed no sacks at North Carolina. So it's like, where was Awesome, even though you had all these injuries and you had this carousel of talent that you had to cycle in and out, not once did you want to cycle Richards in, and that's concerning. So where's Richards in his development? Is he going to be anywhere near ready in year 2? You don't know yet. So, hey, Chuma Edoga. How's the board going to fall? You don't know yet. So, Chuma Edoga. It's a veteran minimum deal. It's pennies on the dollar. It's a 1-year deal. It's very cuttable this offseason if the board falls the way they want in the draft, and a guy like Awesome Richards and a guy like Matt Waletzko, whose shoulders have been failing him, but when they don't fail him, he shows a lot of promise. So guys like Waletzko and Richards can really show and prove as possible swing guys. In addition to, you get your offensive tackle potentially in the first round of this draft, then the Chuma Edoga thing is not a thing at all. It's insurance. It doesn't preclude them from doing anything at all in the draft. It is 100%, just make sure that we have our backs covered. That's basically what that is. Now, as far as the analyst point of view, I think you had better options, and maybe you still have better options than Chuma Edoga. That's not to say I think Edoga doesn't belong in the league, because I've seen him be effective in coming in spurts as a guard, not so much as a left tackle. Please, let's never do that again. But I could see him being a viable backup piece at left guard. But in that same breath, Bass beat him out, right? So Hoffman beat him out. So these are all conversations that happen in the building. But the fact that a Bass can come in, and he's a gamer, the fact that Hoffman can come in and kind of beat you out as the veteran, I say all of that to say anyone assuming that re-signing Chuma Edoga changes anything whatsoever as far as the approach to the remainder of the offseason, you've absolutely lost your mind.
Let's stay there on the draft. Knowing what we know going into this draft and coming out of free agency, where Cowboys don't do much or did little in free agency, they still got a good amount of needs in this draft. And there's some conversation of, hey, do we stay put and take our guy? Do we trade back and grab more picks? So this or that for you, Pat. You staying put at 24, drafting BPA per need is what I call it, BPA per need. Or are you trading back through hell or high water to pick up a couple more picks because you ain't got a fourth rounder?
And this is where it gets kind of fun but nerve-wracking at the same time, because I'm going into the draft feeling like I got to get more picks. I only have, 7? And none of those are in the fourth round because I gave up my fourth-round pick for Trey Lance. I got to figure out a way to get back in that fourth round or, the back end of the third round. But I need that pick in that particular spectrum. So unless the player that is available approaching 24 is a CeeDee Lamb or someone where, you absolutely can't deny taking this person regardless of what your need is, unless it's that type of situation, which is, possible, but it's not probable. Outside of that, I'm trading back. I'm trading back. Now, I would ideally like to trade back and still remain on day one for a couple reasons. Number one, first and foremost, I want 5 years of control of this pick, of my first pick. I want 5 years of control. And you lose that once you hit pick number 33. You lose a whole year with that fifth-year option going out the window. But also, I believe that anyone that might be available at 24, reasonably speaking, not a random generational guy that shouldn't be there, but reasonably speaking, anyone there at 24 should probably still be there at 30, right, hypothetically speaking. So if you move back from 24 into the 30s, 30, 31, maybe talk to the Chiefs about 32, you still get that fifth year of control, but you also get enough collateral. Maybe you regain and you flip some things and you regain that fourth-round pick or maybe another third-round pick. But I think you have to do that. And I don't think that the Cowboys are looking to trade down just once in this draft. I would expect that they're looking to trade down maybe twice in this draft. Go in and get more picks because your free agents, this is your free agency. This is your free agency if you're the Cowboys. Outside of Eric Kendricks coming from outside of the building, and then you had a key retention in like Jordan Lewis and your special teams guy and C.J. Goodwin. Outside of those, you've not done anything. So you have to have, and I don't say this with hyperbole, you have to have literally one of the best drafts in franchise history. And that's only going to happen if you get as many picks as possible to help better the odds of achieving that mission.
Well, the Cowboys should have 2 more trade partners because, the Bills got rid of Diggs and the Chiefs wide receiver could be suspended or I don't know what they're going to do with him. So those are 2 teams right there, 31 and 28 or something like that, 27, where they can trade down, pick up extra picks. And I'd imagine those dudes could be looking at wide receiver to jump up and get their guy.
Yeah, a perfect example being the Chiefs, especially on the heels and in the wake of the Rashee Rice news. I mean, the Chiefs are a team that were already in dire straits at wide receiver before this news. And if this news ends up with Rashee Rice serving a suspension of any kind, then, of course, that applies that much more pressure on a team like the Chiefs to say, hey, we don't want to sit here at the back end of the first round. We have, there's a receiver sitting there at, when the Cowboys go on the clock at 24, hey, you want to do a pick swap and we send some additional collateral your way so we can get our guy? Cowboys think to themselves, hey, well, who are we looking to take first? If this guy's free-falling and we think he's going to be there 7 or 8 picks later, okay, let's make that move. And I think that would be a fantastic thing to do. So, yeah, to your point, you're going to have some teams that are picking behind the Cowboys that are going to want to look to move up to where the Cowboys are, because the Chiefs, I mean, they're not going to try to jump into the top 15 for a wide receiver. That's way too expensive, right? So, but it's more feasible for them to call a team like the Cowboys or one of those other teams in the mid to late 20s and try to negotiate a deal. So if you're the Cowboys, you're in prime position right now, barring a generational guy staring you in the face. You're in prime position right now to move back and get some picks.
One more in regards to NFL things here. If you can get one realistic free agent prior to the draft to bring in for the Cowboys, and I'm heavy on realistic, right? Because a lot of fans, they'll go crazy with big names. But one realistic free agent, who would it be?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, there's a lot of them out there.
You know what? I think
I got one.
We're past the point. Well, I think we're past the point where an outside free agent acquisition would be more impactful than the guy that I'm about to name, Stephon Gilmore. I think that, and I would have loved to see more action from outside of the building as far as bringing guys in. But I think now we're at the point where if you look at what Stephon Gilmore brings to the table and what he was able to do for the Cowboys last year, especially after losing Trayvon Diggs, and also his mentorship and also his dog mentality playing through a torn labrum in the playoffs, et cetera, if you can get Stephon Gilmore back, that would be more valuable, more impactful for what Mike Zimmer is trying to do with only a one-year contract, by the way, Mike Zimmer has, than any of the other available free agents on the market right now. Now, that's, again, not to say that there are not, some defensive tackle help that you can go out and get, but, I mean, you've lost out most of those guys, and now you lost out on Jonathan Hankins. But when I look at the full table of available free agents, Stephon Gilmore is that blinking light for me, and I think it's paramount that the Cowboys get him back in the building, especially because history shows that it's going to take some time for Trayvon Diggs to be back to prime form off of that torn ACL. So even with the retention of Jordan Lewis, even with Deron Bland playing the way he's playing, you don't know yet when Trayvon Diggs becomes the first-team All-Pro again. And also, last year, you traded for Stephon Gilmore to play with Diggs, but also as insurance against injury, because flashback to 2022 when you had Anthony Brown and Jordan Lewis injured, and Kelvin Joseph and Deshaun Wright were getting taken to the woodshed by Aaron Rodgers and Trevor Lawrence. You need Stephon Gilmore back in the building. You don't know yet what you have with Eric Scott, Deshaun Wright, Izzy Mukuamu. Those two guys are on a contract year, and they've not necessarily shown you that they can go long stretches of season and play at a high level. So for me, it's Gilmore, and then you start looking back outside the building.
That's a fantastic one. So I'm not going to use one for in the building. I'm going to go outside the building. I'm going to go with an ageless wonder at the position that you brought up, defensive tackle, because best believe they're just as scarce there with only really two guys and Carl Davis, who's a journeyman. Calais Campbell. I know he's old, y'all. I get it. But the dude did come off another good year last year. He's got 13 sacks in the last two seasons and over 55 stops. He still can play. And if you want to get a veteran leader in that line, because you don't have Hankins anymore, get Calais Campbell in there, help mentor these guys. Oh, and by the way, on the field, he still can ball for you. And it's a one-year deal, too, as well. So you got your veteran guy in Kendricks in the second level. Get yourself a veteran defensive tackle / 5-tech if you decide to play a little different. And I think Campbell could come in here and be a great bridge player for whether it be another draft pick or for any of these young guys that they decide to bring on.
Listen, I smell what you're cooking. I mentioned Calais Campbell in open market, in my open market series to start free agency or before free agency launched. I looked at the defensive tackle position and I said, hey, I would love to retain Jonathan Hankins, but if Jonathan Hankins departs, who are my several options? And I had guys like Nico Autry, obviously, Eric Armstead, things like that. But Calais Campbell was absolutely one of the guys that I named for the reasons you just said. Number one, ageless wonder, and he's proving that time and again. You're not seeing this massive fall off from him on a year-to-year or week-to-week basis. I would love to be able to bring a guy like Calais in, because while it seems as if the Cowboys are ready to throw the keys to Mozzie Smith, and really they should be off the strength of the fact that he's your former first-round pick from last year, so you got to throw him out there and find out what you got. But at the same time, we talked about insurance earlier. You need insurance. against if he takes some more time to progress or if he struggles or whatever the case may be, Calais Campbell, it would be that type of insurance. And like you mentioned, mentoring as well. Jonathan Hankins was great in mentoring younger guys, so is Calais Campbell. And it goes without saying that he's also the consummate professional, great community guy as well, all-around great locker room guy, beloved around the league. So I'm right there with you. I think Calais Campbell is still one of the, I don't want to say premier, but one of the better and one of the best, is the best way to put it, one of the best still available defensive tackles that you can add. Likely won't do it until after the draft because, again, you want to see how the board shakes out. But he's certainly one of the mercenaries that I feel like you can add, and not necessarily June because of his age, but he feels like more of a training camp signing, and maybe even a late training camp signing because guys his age, whether they're performing, well, even if they're still performing at a high level, they tend to want to come in closer to the regular season than at the beginning of training camp because they don't typically want to go through all the rigmarole that they have in their NFL career. But, yeah, Campbell, I like that a lot.
He'd be a dream signing for me. Speaking of dreams, get ready to learn the words of kingdom, buddy. Get ready.
Listen.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, man. Will Cody finish the story? I put my prediction out there yesterday.
Listen,
I'm not going to.
I'm a Roman guy.
I want people to do.
But I'm down for Cody finishing this story. But you need to go right for the WWE. I saw some of your ideas on Twitter, man. We need to hashtag that. Get Pat in the WWE writing room, fam.
Tell him to slide in the DMs. That's a dream job. This is, covering the Cowboys is my 1A. That's got to be my 1B. That's another thing that ever since I was a young boy I wanted to do. So, hey, WWE, if you're listening, Hunter, all you holler at the kid, man. Let me in. What's that gift with the guys outside? And he's like, let me in. That's me or not. Let me in. I got ideas. But this Mania is going to go crazy. Man. And what I was thinking about last night about it for our fellow wrestling fans that are listening is we're doing all of this talking rightfully so about the two main events on night one, night two. Rightfully so. But I was falling asleep last night, and I'm like, man, what about the LA Knight versus AJ Styles and how they've gone like full 1990s with that build-up and Knight showing up at
the crib,
AJ's house and
Brian
you know,
Pillman, Stone Cold
the crowd with the hoodie, Right, I love it. Rock versus Stone Cold, and then you got Rhea and Becky. I half of me says no way Rhea drops this belt. The other half says I think Becky takes it off her, and it goes so on and on from there. So I mean, this Mania is about to be crazy, and we talk about Stone Cold. Will we hear the glass break to help Cody finish the story? Hulk Hogan dropped a social media clip, kind of trolling The Rock, saying how Cody's his boy, and guess whose streak that Roman would break if he retains the belt? Hogan. So will Hogan interfere to make sure his streak doesn't get snatched away? Man, ladies and gentlemen, I could not be more amped. Let's go.
Speaking of Hogan, I wanted to ask you what match would you think is going to steal the show? Because every WrestleMania, there's always a match that's not the main event that ends up stealing the show. And the poster child for that, for me, and this is more of a historical, I wasn't around, I wasn't outside, but I know my history, is Savage versus Steamboat Mania 3. Right, Hogan and Andre the Giant main evented that. Right, it was an all-time build-up, all-time match because that was passing the torch.
He slammed Andre,
right?
Yeah.
But Savage and Steamboat stole the show. So what match? And this is a hell of a card, by the way. At WrestleMania 40, do you think will steal the show?
Ooh, you know what? You know who's been routinely stealing some of these PLEs over the past couple of years or so is the women's division. You look at Elimination Chamber, and even to the fact that Nia Jax. I mean, we didn't really necessarily want to see her come back because she's just not a good wrestler, but she's even leveled up to the
she
point
got better.
Where her main event against Rhea in Australia, that was a massively entertaining match. So I'm going to go with Rhea versus Becky, and I think the sleeper here will be Jay versus Jimmy, because if they can pull off Jay versus Jimmy in the way they did Owen versus Brett, then that could be a legendary match, especially considering it's all tied to the bloodline and the main event for day one and the main event for day two. So, yeah, but quick answer, I'm going Rhea versus Becky. I think that has a chance to steal the show.
I went back and forth with mine because usually these ladder matches, go crazy at Mania, man. I remember 2016, the Intercontinental Championship match was nuts. Now we're gonna have a 6-pack tag team title match, ladder match that has a chance. Now the participants aren't the high flyers. All of them are high flyers, so that might not be as good as it used to be. But I'm thinking the triple threat match for the U.S. title: Logan Paul, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton. Logan Paul has yet to put out a bad match. This dude is fantastic, and I think they could steal this show, bro.
I hate to admit it, but you're right. That being said, I think it's less of a triple threat match and more of a, Logan versus the tag team duo of Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. I think KO and Randy, they're going to go at it. And Randy, the beautiful part of it is Randy is so unpredictable.
Yeah,
that he'll work with KO.
I think he's going to turn. I think he turns.
That's what I'm saying. He'll work with KO most of the match to help eliminate Logan as far as physically and beat him down and tenderize him and make it easy to pin. And then the moment KO is about to go in and get that pin, RKO out of nowhere, Randy takes the belt, which I believe is the rightful thing to do because, hey, don't we all hear voices in our head? Let's go.
I think alternate universe there, KO costs Randy the belt, and then after the match, they're both in the ring like, oh, man, it's all right. It's okay. We're going to be fine. And then KO's like, no, sir. Or Randy's like, no, sir. RKO, and he beats his ass, and he turns heel again.
Nowhere.
Yeah. But anyway.
Hey, well, you can't spell RKO without KO. So, let's keep an eye on that. And also, and then the Drew versus Seth. This is going to be packed, dude. This weekend is loaded. I said on Twitter, I got Drew taking the belt off Seth because I think Seth is ready for a break. And they finally, the WWE finally figured out the perfect recipe for Drew McIntyre. I can't get enough of Drew McIntyre. This time last year, I was sick of Drew because he was all over the place. They finally got the perfect recipe. I would love to see Drew get the belt. Will Damian Priest cash in finally and try to take that off him? I don't know. But if Drew takes this belt off of Seth, the Drew versus CM Punk rivalry is set. It's set for SummerSlam. It's set, and it's going to go crazy.
I think the belt needs to be on the heel.
Ladies and gentlemen, just if you love wrestling, ride with us this weekend because I'm certainly going to be live tweeting. And if you don't love wrestling, ride with us anyway because we're going to make you love it. So just sit back, shut up, and enjoy the ride that Hunter is taking you on.
I love it. Patrick No-C Walker on this installment of Scientific Method. Appreciate you, Pat. We'll be talking to you throughout this weekend on day 1 and day 2 of night 1, night 2 of WrestleMania, big dog.
Yes, sir. Talk to you soon.
One of the best sciences yet. One of the best scientific methods that we've had yet. Shouts out to Patrick No-C Walker. And I appreciate y'all for holding tight and going through our wrestling spiel. Y'all know how we feel. We're very, very passionate about WrestleMania this weekend. And if you are, make sure you follow us on Twitter. We're going to keep that conversation going. Let's keep the football conversation going, though, and get back into the 4 players that I think are in for a critical season. And we'll wrap to y'all via the chat and a little bit of the phones, too. It's Friday. We ain't doing too much else.
You're listening to A to Z Sports.
Do it live!
At some point, hoping to broadcast
In front of the millions
of Cowboys fans to bring you the real. But for now, strap up and here's your host, Skywalker Steele.
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you.
We'll do it live.
Welcome back, Cowboys Nation. A to Z Sports Live. It's your boy Skywalker. We just had Patrick No-C Walker on for one of the best scientific methods that we've had. And given that it's kind of a down period in Cowboys news, even more impressive to me, man. There was an earthquake in Jersey. Anybody from Jersey in the chat or in the area? I hope y'all all right. It takes me back. I was just talking to my wife about this back in 2012. Maybe I can't remember what year it was. I was sitting at my job and we felt an earthquake in Harrisburg. We don't get no earthquakes in Harrisburg, but I think the epicenter was in the DMV area, like DC maybe, or not DMV area, but around the DC area. And we felt it. But I'm not accustomed to no dang earthquakes. But I hope y'all cool. It ain't nothing? All right, bet. Let's get back in. Oh, I don't need to press that button again. Let's get back into this foot. Stevie Mack, your house shook for 15 seconds. Eesh. And that's kind of crazy. I hope you're all right, man. What we were talking about prior to hitting the scientific method, we were talking about draft and develop. And we left off with the 2022 class. And when you take a step back, you look at this class, Bomb Squad, you say, Tyler Smith, All-Pro, Deron Bland, All-Pro, Jake Ferguson, he got next. You know what? He got now. Jake's like that. Great class. Normally you say, and it is, because of those three just alone. Doesn't matter, right? But here's a problem. It does matter. Pat kind of alluded to something when he called in and he said, you know, the Cowboys have to have an all-time class. And the reason why they have to is because they don't go out and sign these tier 2, I ain't even talk about tier 1, tier 2 or tier 3 types. They go all the way to the bottom of the barrel and bring in these guys in free agency. So you need to hit on guys outside of all pros. And I think there's no other player to start with in that class than this guy right here in Sam Williams. It starts right there with him for a whole number of different reasons. But if the Cowboys want to continue to elevate that class, Sam Williams has to take the next step. Cannot keep having these second round picks not work out, right? Now you can say, well, Sky, you know, Diggs, right? Second round pick. You are absolutely right. But if Sam doesn't hit, we're talking about potentially 3 second round picks in a row where these guys aren't uber productive and probably won't see a second contract. Schoolmaker, it's still out on Schoolmaker, but let's be real. Schoolmaker's not jumping Jake Ferguson anytime soon, right? It's not happening. Sam Williams, obviously, it's TBD, and Kelvin Joseph, he's gone. But think about this. Since 2014, there's only been 2 second round picks the Cowboys have given a legitimate second contract to. And I'm talking about Randy Gregory's weird 1-year deals and stuff. Legitimate 2 contracts since DeMarcus Lawrence. We're talking Diggs and Jalen Smith. Jalen Smith is not even on this team anymore, Cowboys. He's not the only one that's not on this team from the second round. Listen, Randy Gregory, Jalen Smith, Cheeto, Connor Williams, Tristan Hill, Kelvin Joseph. That's 6 of the last 9 second round picks no longer on this team, or not having a second round or a second contract with the Cowboys. When you don't partake in free agency, you can't miss like that in the second round. You absolutely can't. And it's critical for Sam. In fact, Coach McCarthy said the same thing. And listen to the word need that he mentions in regards to Sam Williams.
Absolutely. I mean, just look at, you know, with DA moving on and the opportunities that's going to, I mean, Sam is definitely probably either in the front of the line or near the front of the line of one of the players that needs to step up. I mean, he's going to be given more opportunities. I mean, Sam has done, you know, he's made impactful plays in the short time that he, you know, compared to his play time. So, yes, I think that's an excellent example.
Yeah, the example he was talking about was, I think Gelkin had brought up, you know, hey, speaking of the guys getting more playing time, what about Sam? And, you know, he did mention, you know, sometimes Sam is made plays in a limited time he's been out there. But why the limited time? We touched on Sam a while back, a few months back when we did the hindsight series. And if you go look at the back half of the season, he only played more than 20 snaps twice, and both came in blowouts. And then you go to the playoffs, right? Hey, second round pick in the second year, biggest game of the season. He played 8 snaps. There was a disconnect somewhere, man. I don't know where, I don't know why, but there was a disconnect. And obviously we know he goes on social media and let out some frustration or whatnot. But we need Sam Williams to take that next step at defensive end. Whether Micah's going to play backer or not, he needs to be either that Manu Ginobili 6-man off the bench, or if they move Micah, he needs to be that terror at defensive end. Now, we've seen him do in his first 2 years from time to time. He's got like 8 or 9 sacks. So we know he can pressure the quarterback. Another reason why it's important is because this is a new coaching staff. Mike Zimmer didn't draft Sam Williams. There could be another defensive coordinator that comes in here and then looks at Sam Williams and says, hey, dog, I ain't draft you. What you did under Dan Quinn and Mike Zimmer wasn't enough for me to keep you around. So with that said, it's one of the reasons why I think, and I'm going to use this as my Hattie B's hot take, I think this season, Sam Williams' third, is a make or break season, despite having 2 more years on his contract. Make or break. Some of that has to do with on the field, not putting out consistent production. Some of that has to do with off the field. Let's be real. He'll tell you this too. He hasn't been a model citizen off the field either. He has some maturing to do. It happens. I'm not going to question his work ethic. I don't know what he does off the field work-wise. I know right now he is in the lab with Micah Parsons, and I would imagine he's taking his 3rd year serious. But because there's a Mike Zimmer in here, and that's not Dan Quinn. He didn't go to your pro day. He didn't bring you in and put his arm around you and say, you my guy. Because we're in a lame duck season with Mike McCarthy, who could be on the outs, which means a new defensive coordinator come in, this is a make or break season for Sam Williams. He absolutely has to level up, or I think this could be his last year in Dallas. Well, what do you mean? Sky's 2nd round pick. So was Kelvin Joseph. So was Tristan Hill. Both of those guys are gone. Yes, he's shown more than those 2, but has he shown enough to remove all doubt? Not yet. Not yet. It's Matty B's hot take. Make sure you guys head on down to Deep Ellum. Check out Hattie B's. We will be there, I think, soon. I want to say possibly next week for a live show again. Shouts out to Hattie B's. They've been fantastic sponsor for us here. But y'all know how it is down there at Hattie B's. They got some of the best hot chicken in the land. Founded in 2012 in Nashville, Hattie B's is now here in Dallas, down in Deep Ellum. So check them out at HattieB's.com. Use the promo code ATOZ. Get a little discount. Go pick it up or have it delivered to your home. So Sam Williams, Cowboys Nation. Fair to say this is a make or break season for him? Or do you think having that extra year is like, he doesn't have to come out and be great? David says he thinks it was a trust thing. Yeah, I mean, it was hard to trust him, right? I mean, he was a penalty waiting to happen, whether it be on special teams or whether it be on defense. It was always these untimely penalties with Sam Williams. Sean said he needs to force himself and then to stay on the field, do something. Yeah. He needs to make them not take him off the field is what you're saying. 100%. And look, he's got the talent. I'm not questioning Sam's talent. You see it on the field. Between the ears, though, that's something I think is a legitimate conversation. Yes, very immature. We got Magic City on the horn. He been holding for a little bit. What's good with your Magic City, Marv?
What up, family? How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic on this beautiful Friday. How are you?
I'm good. Just chilling. Kind of chilly out here today in L.A. Man. Chilly with
you ain't getting no sympathy from me. You in L.A. That's beautiful weather over there, man. Because it's about to get mad hot in Texas, so I ain't giving you no sympathy. What's up, though?
Oh, man, just watching your show, checking it out the last few weeks. You've been talking some good stuff, you know what I'm saying? So, I love it. They still got to get them deep tackles in there.
Yeah.
We definitely got to get them. But they're going to do it. Like I heard on after the 29th, like you say, that's when they go shopping. Lots. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see how the roster end up after the 29th. So that's where they say that draft. They don't want to take a draft, because that way they don't give up their fourth picks. Like you say, they take them picks seriously. But I hope they go back. I hope they move back. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah. I, like Pat said, it'll have to be like a CD Lamb type prospect for me to not look to move back. You need more picks, man.
Need more picks. So I don't want them.
Marv.
Because I'm just chilling.
Marv, you got to change your smoke detector, Marv.
My smoke detector?
Yeah. We don't want your house to burn down, Marv. Yeah, change that smoke detector, big dog.
Oh, no, that's outside.
Oh, you outside? There's a smoke detector outside?
Somebody next door, not me.
Marv.
You know, I live right on the strip. I live right on Hollywood. Marv, Hollywood?
Dude, what kind of smoke detector is so loud you can hear it as clear as day through your phone outside?
Ah, man, I don't even know. Sometimes it's smoke, because I got my little, because it's kind of chilly out, my little heater on, so I probably from there.
Strip. You at the club, Marv? Hey, what's that? The strip club? You crazy?
Oh, I don't go to no strip club. I ain't been in a strip club in about
Yo, how
6,
ratchet
7
is that, bro? You go to the strip club and you hear
beep. That's crazy, man. Is you Voch doing the show today?
No. Voch is he on a guest. He got a lot of guests that he's rolling out over the next couple weeks. So y'all make sure y'all tune in over there, Voch and Barty on YouTube. He got I think it was Duke Manyweather. Big interview. He dropped that on Patreon, so make sure you go check that out. But he'll be dropping parts
Duke?
of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Duke. Yeah. So Duke said keep him at guard. I saw that.
Duke said what now?
Big boy. Duke said keep Big Boy at guard.
Yes. Duke is heavy with keeping Tyler at guard. And I totally get that because he was an all-pro guard there. And one of the things I said when he was drafted, I said, look, they might draft him at tackle, but his weaknesses at tackle are mitigated at guard. And and we don't know if that has changed in 1 year, but he's an all-pro guard. And you didn't see those weaknesses on the interior. I thought he was fantastic.
Well, like you say, they put the pressure on them coaches because Shalari can't play around because they probably tell him, hey, man, next man up, I want to see Richardson play a lot. I don't want to hear no excuse.
Well, they brought back Awesome. So Richards got some more competition. That kind of tells me how they feel about him. They're not quite ready to trust Awesome Richards just yet, but maybe that'll put some fire under him.
Well, he got all off season to get even stronger, and then I just want to see him play. Don't be panicking. Put the man as left tackle and see what happens. But what about I saw you had Ridgeway on there. Is he back or something?
No. That's just the class, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. That's just the total draft class. Ridgeway's not here. Harper's not here. Well, let's go. He might not even be here. So we were just talking about some of the players or the class in general and why guys around the top 3 have to step up.
Yeah. So we got who you want the first pick? A guard or center?
I'm leaning more towards the front 7 or offensive line. But we got so many needs. Some of them you can rank them 1 to 5 or top to bottom. Regardless, take the best player position to need. So if these needs, the tags are touching, then you can maybe say, hey, well, I'll take need number 3 over need number 2 because the tags are touching. But if somebody falls and it's your need number 5 or 4, and they are just far and away better than your top need, then you take that. So I think there's context. I think it's not cut and dry, one position, one player. I don't like squaring myself into one position or one player anymore. I did that back in TJ Watt era. and got my heart broken. Never doing it again, Marv. So we just got to be open-minded, let the draft fall where it may. And Dallas needs so many positions. You might be in a situation where we could trade back.
Thanks. That's our hope. But like you say, I think Buffalo, Baltimore, and Chicago gonna definitely
Chiefs.
Hey,
Chiefs.
The Chiefs.
Yeah.
Hey, now look at Buffalo. Got rid of all the best players.
Yeah.
The Cowboys were there, but they been on your phone crying all day. Oh, they got rid of
Why? Why would you be upset if you know your front office can do things like that and still make moves? Like this is part of being aggressive. Sometimes you're going to have to aggressively move on from players so that you can bring in other players. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think because we try to cope with not being aggressive, anytime we see a franchise make moves like trade Shaq Leonard or not Shaq Leonard, trade what's his name over there, Jalen Ramsey from the Rams, or get rid of whomever, we think, see, they got aggressive. Now they got to get rid of people. Well, yeah, that's part of it. Guess what? That doesn't remove their aggressive nature. Now the Rams are right back in being an aggressive team. The Bills will be the same way. They got a general manager that said exactly what I wish ours would say. Hey, man, when he's talking about Josh Allen, he said, look, people got on us for trading up for Josh Allen. To me, I said either it's going to work or it's not, and I'm going to get fired. So he knew I have to be aggressive here. Has it worked out for the Bills? For Josh Allen, yes, but has it worked out in winning the Super Bowl? No, it hasn't. But that doesn't mean you stop. So I'm not going to make fun of the Bills for
me either.
Yeah,
they have to do what they have to do.
I do what they got to do.
Hey, what about man? So many halfbacks and receivers. The Alabama receiver dangerous. Man, so many receivers.
It is, Marv, and we're actually going to break that down. With me and Foots are going to talk receivers next week. We got difference of opinions on that position, but not necessarily with the players. So we got a good one. Make sure you stick around for that next week, Marv. But
I'm gonna watch. I like watching them. Yeah, I'll be watching you and my boy. I said, okay.
Yeah,
because I've been watching it too. Because I was like, man, everybody, not as you, but the fan base, they be. Woo, I never seen the most panicky. Our problem, we be trying to. What your mama used to always say. You trying to compete with the Joneses?
the irony in that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, but Marv, it's a competitive sport. You are competing with the other teams, though. So, listen, Marv. We have the right to be frustrated. This is the fourth year in a row. You be like, hey, I don't know why they mad, dog. You know why they mad. You know why Cowboy fans are mad. We upset, man. Like we can't get over the hump, so we want to make moves to get over the hump. That's fair.
I'm feeling good. I'm not even tripping. Like you said, I'm gonna wait till after the when we go to them practices, then we can say, okay, we're in trouble. Right now,
well, you don't have to say you're in trouble. I think two things can be true, right? I think you can say, well, this Cowboys team is going to be a good team again. They'll probably win double digits, and then when we get to the playoffs, is your confidence going to all of a sudden be higher than it was in previous years? I mean, that's kind of hard to say right now because the Cowboys haven't given you a bunch of confidence in the playoffs or at the end of seasons. So,
did you see your boy, the DB, his interview with the girls on the girls show?
No, I did not.
J. Lou.
Yeah.
J. Lou sounds just like me. J. Lou said, "Man, we got so much talent. Y'all tripping." He said, y'all will see. He's not even tripping. Because, like I said,
Marv, why would Jordan Lewis go on a podcast and be like, yeah, man, we ain't made no moves. I wish we'd have got better. He going to go on a podcast and big up his teammates.
I don't blame him. That's what I like. I love it. Hey, but
you was ready to kick J. Lou off the team. But anyway, go ahead, big dog. In closing, Marv.
You know, I was mad at J. Lou. Then he got better. I said, okay, he came back.
Yeah.
Strong. That's what I'm talking about. Got to get a man credit. But the DNs, Fiocco and 99.
In closing, brother, we can't go through every single player in every single position, every single draft pick, brother.
In closing, man, good show.
Thank you.
And thank God the DNs going to be playing DN. Salute.
Magic City said, I ain't talked to you in like 3 weeks. You gonna get this work. I gotta give the work too, Magic City. Appreciate you, Mar. Let's get back to that work and talk about a player who was not drafted in his class, but I suppose you can put him a part of the collection of players. Talking about Wanye Thomas. Now, I ain't gonna go as far and say this is a make or break year for Wanye. But what I will say is it's important, in my opinion, for him to take that next step. It'll be hard, and I'll explain to you guys in a second why it will be hard. A lot of it has to do with who is in front of him and if politics come into play. Malik Hooker, Donovan Wilson both got extensions last year. And those extensions, though, could be reasons why he needs to step up. Because there are outs. There's outs from Malik Hooker after this year or in 2 years. And there's, well, you can get out of it next year. But Dono, there's an out next year where you can save $7 million. And from Malik Hooker, there's an out next year where you save like 5.7. So if a guy like Wanye, who showed promise, right? Like Wanye showed that he could do some things for you last year, whether it be preseason, whether it be regular season. I feel like he's an emotional leader on the field. I think he's one of our best, if not our best cover safety. I've said that. We've seen him play a ton of man. We've seen him do things like this in zone. He can come down, lay the wood. Now, he's not always... Now, when he plays in a box like this, he can do this very well. I'm probably higher on Wanye than some, but I feel like he deserves to go into camp next year at the very least and compete for a role. But that battle is going to be uphill because unlike DQ, Mike Zimmer's not going to roll this 3 safety look as heavy as Dan did. It's just not going to happen. So yes, I think he's safety 3 right now, but in order to see significant time, he's going to have to win a starting spot, and that could be tough if they play politics. That could be tough. But I would love to give him the op, man. I would love to give him the chance to compete for it because he's going to either take somebody's spot or he's going to push them. One of the two, take somebody's spot or he's going to push them. And if he wants to take somebody's spot without injuries happening and if slight politics are happening, he's going to have to do what J-Ron did. You remember Donovan Wilson came in, he was a starter 2021 season. J-Ron Curse, second game, I think he came in immediately. He start going off to the point where he eventually became the starter and then he forced himself into the rotation. If something happens to one of these safeties and Wanye comes in, he has to take advantage of that opportunity in 2023 because he's not going to get, I can tell you right now, he's not going to get 400 or 500 snaps being safety 3. He's going to have to do it as a starter. But I think Wanye, if not here, somewhere else, you know, he can have a resurgence if he doesn't get the chance here. I feel you, Sully.
Super chat.
Sully Drop 5 said, Marv's call start like he didn't save your number trying to figure out who you is. He just got to catch up, man. That's all. He just trying to catch up. All right, the next player on our list here is Jalen Tolbert. And Tolbert is interesting because I think Tolbert had a good year relative to the opportunities that he had. I personally think he should have got way more opportunities than Michael Gallup. So we can know right now going into this draft if Jalen Tolbert can be a dependable starter for the foreseeable future. Right now, he's wide receiver 3, and I think that's fine. I think right now you feel confident of him being wide receiver 3. I think to be wide receiver 2, you need to see more to have that confidence, hence why the need at the position I think is still there because I don't think he's a future number 2 right now. We need to see more. I don't think he's that. But I thought coming out of camp, and so did Michael Gallup, hey, this dude is pushing, Mike. And it was going to take Michael Gallup coming out big time in those first 5 weeks, and he didn't. Now, he won like a 2-game run, and then he fell right back off, and Jalen Tolbert started to get more and more and more reps. And he did solid with those reps. He showed more versatility. He showed some toughness. And I always bring up the 4th and 8 to the point where he even got trust from Dak on a big play in a big moment on the road against a divisional rival. But in order for this class to elevate, he's a 3rd round pick. Now, you want to talk about 3rd round picks? Let's go back. Osa? Okay. We'll take that. Chauncey? Doesn't look like he's going to get a second contract here. Nashawn Wright? Absolute bust. Neville Gallimore? Bust. 3rd round hasn't been too kind to Dallas the last 3 classes. Gonna need Tolbert to elevate that 3rd round. Osa's holding it down over the last couple classes, or 3 classes. Gonna need Tolbert to step up. If Dallas does not take a wide receiver in this draft, remember we did that mock draft the other day? If they don't take a wide receiver like that mock draft, Jalen Tolbert, I think he's going to have to come in and push Cooks. I'm not saying he'd overtake Cooks. I still think Cooks is better. But I think to see that leap, it would have to be him pushing Cooks and him getting a 800-yard type season, 6 touchdown type season, that Sid Wilson type of year. If he has that, that's the leap. If he doesn't, and they don't take a receiver, now we're going into 2025. Cooks is off the team. Tolbert tops out at wide receiver 3. You didn't draft a receiver. Now we're back positioning ourselves in a corner to take a receiver again in the draft high. So Jalen Tolbert absolutely needs to take that leap. And then finally, Damone Clark. Some might argue he took a 2nd-year jump. I would say not necessarily. Yes, the stats were there. The production was there in regards to, hey, he had 100 tackles. He started all these games. Played out of position. Maybe you grade him on a curve. The leap I'm looking for is being a playmaker. I've been adamant about that 2nd level not having a playmaker since Sean Lee left. Sean Lee was a playmaker. I don't think Jalen was. I don't think LVE was. I don't think Joe Thomas and Anthony Barr and all these guys we've been in and out. For him to take a leap, we need more forced fumbles. We need more tackles for loss. We need that trigger's got to click. Interceptions, pass breakups. We need playmaking ability from that position. If not, move to the side and see if DeMarvion Overshown can do it. Move to the side and see if a draft pick does it. In fact, I don't even think it's guaranteed that he starts. So if he don't start, once again, let's go back to the class. I think he did forget Demo, or he forgot Damone Clark in this one here. If Damone Clark washes out of this class, Tolbert washes out, if Sam washes out, does that, make sure I say this right, does that make you look at the class a little differently? Because you still get 2 All-Pros and Jake Ferguson. So, you know, that's still a hell of a class. But remember, we don't participate in free agency. We need these other guys also to hit. How many times are we going to draft all these players in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th rounds and they don't stick around? Because right now, I mean, it's early. It's very, very early. Right now, though, let's just play a game. Are you in favor of re-signing Sam Williams? Has he shown you enough to re-sign him? I don't think so. Not yet. Still got time, but not yet. Jalen Tolbert? Not yet. Matt Waletzko? Hell no. Devin Harper ain't even on the team. Damone Clark? Not yet. Well, Sky, you got to give him time. That's fair. I ain't got to give time to Tyler Smith. I know I'm re-signing him. I know I'm re-signing Deron Bland. I know I'm re-signing Jake Ferguson. I don't need time to think on those boys. So they need to take this leap, because if not, we're going to be right back in this circle of these day 2 picks. And some 3, I know 3s are tough, but the way the Cowboys operate, you need to keep these 3s around. You have to. Who we re-signed? My bad. I should have took my time and read it because I see some no's and some yes. Yeah, letting Harper go was weird. Sam was a dumb selection. No, yeah, there's not too many players outside those three you're bringing back. And sometimes you got to bring back a role player that's not going to cost you a ton of money. Not familiar with this number here. I believe it's out of the country number. So let's see who we got here to close out this show. 966. What it do? N- 966-592. You are live. Oh, it's our guy Bandar. What's good with you?
Good, brother. How are you? How is everything?
Everything is great, man. Just loving fatherhood and loving doing this for you guys.
I hope everything fine with you and Michelle. Congratulations on the baby.
Thank you.
Actually, I wasn't gonna call because I don't think the chat gonna take me and Mark calling the same day. The chat are comparing me to Mark because we talk too much, me and Mark, and we don't give you a chance. So I'm not sure they're going to take.
Bandar, let me tell you something right now. You ain't got nothing on Marv when it come to that. Nothing. you ain't taking that crown from Marv. That's Marv's crown.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I love listening to him. I love the Cowboys Nation. Different personality, different people. I really do.
Yeah.
I have a couple of things I want to talk about. First of all, we missed you, honestly, but I know that it was you deserve this break, honestly. And yesterday I was listening to Mo. Actually, he was talking about you will change the format. I think you will go 3 times a week. You will change the format, something like that. I think you deserve also a break, Sky, after all the hard work you did last season.
Thank you.
We really missed you last week, especially here in Ramadan. In Ramadan, and I don't usually have things to do. I have to watch some of these shows at that time, so I missed your show. So, but
I try to minimize the breaks as much as I can, but as I'm one person, so I gotta take it sometimes. So yeah, but appreciate it. What's on your mind?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. My mind actually, it's about the draft. That's what you're talking about the players. Signing Chuma Edoga, to me, it's I'm not sure what does it say about Awesome Richards' development or Matt. Matt, actually, you and Bart, you're out on him, I think. Although I'm still hoping. I saw some video for J-Tuck, old videos for J-Tuck that he's saying he's good. He has some moves. He can be good, but he has a lot of injury problem.
Who's
Velasco?
Who's that?
Velasco, I think. Yeah. Matt, the one we took in the.
Oh, well, let's go.
The offensive tackle, yeah.
Yeah. I'm out on Matt. Well, let's go. I'm not counting on him.
Yeah. Even watch. But I think that's signing Chuma. I'm not sure if it's for veteran depth or they don't trust Awesome at all or Matt. I'm not sure what does it say about our process of development. So this is I'm not sure what it does say. But then again, it's maybe just for depth. I'm not sure. This is what's in my mind. What do you think about that before I can go to my second one?
Yeah, I mentioned this at the top of the show. I do think it makes me question how they feel about Awesome Richards, because if Awesome Richards had the confidence of that front office and of the coaches, you don't bring back Chuma Edoga. There's just no point, because Awesome Richards can be that swing left tackle, left guard that Chuma played. And like Pat said, Chuma got beat out towards the end of the season by TJ Bass. And if you can't beat out Chuma, maybe they're waiting to see if he can develop some more. So I do question how they feel. Now we're going to see come OTAs and come training camp if Awesome Richards can take that next step and maybe this lights a fire up under him. But this to me says that they trust Chuma a little more than him right now.
Yeah, maybe also, like you said, Sky, you always say you cannot have enough offensive linemen, so maybe it's just for them.
That's fair, but to me, I don't think he's that good. That's the problem. Like,
we saw that the Miami game. Dak almost got killed in the Miami game, so we know what happened to him. I know some people compared to. I know some people said like Tyron had the same issue. So please don't compare first ballot Hall of Famer to
facts.
journeyman.
You saw that on Twitter. I put that play up there just to joke around, right? Have a little laugh, and people like, well, Tyron Smith did the same thing. Excuse me, Tyron Smith is a first ballot Hall of Famer. What are we talking about here? Stop it.
Come on, man. It's not. People talk like first ballot Hall of Famer grows in tree. Tyron Smith is a technician. He is.
Yeah, I will miss him. I had a guy retweet the video. They retweet the video and say, "This dude don't know ball." I'm like, "Come on, man! Y'all gotta get out y'all feelings. I know y'all all upset right now, but relax, man. Laugh a little. Laugh through this pain." But anyway, what's your second point?
My second point is about it's the draft in general. Sky, don't you feel like it's like an unexact science? We don't know who's like when I see the list. Like I see 2022, I say, wow, Will McClay and the guys are genius. And I see last year, I say, wow,
you're right.
That's really bad. Yeah, you see the Micah Parsons draft. We got Micah by mistake. We wanted the corner, the one in Denver. I think we wanted.
I wouldn't say it was by mistake. I wouldn't go that far. They wanted another. They wanted another All Pro, and they didn't get that All Pro, and they landed this All Pro. I wouldn't call it a mistake.
Yeah. But they stick to their board. What I'm saying is we didn't like Micah because he will be eventually if he stays like he will be first ballot Hall of Famer. Maybe he will like the rest of the draft. It doesn't matter. But if you look to the rest of the draft, this is the first time I think about it. When I see it, it's not that good, Sky. So it's not.
You're
good
being
for
generous. It's poor. It's a poor. Micah Parsons literally makes this a serviceable draft. Other than that, it's poor.
Because if your team, you rely on draft and development, draft is not good. My last point is, Sky, is about like the sign you get from someone you draft. Like Schoonmaker and the guys and Marty and the guys. I hope they get, although Michigan guys scar me, but I hope they get better next season. Like you get some sign. I swear, when I saw Jake Brooks 2 years ago when he jumped that jump against the Giants, I said, this guy has talent. This guy has athleticism. We don't need to resign the guy who said we have the guy who went to the Texans. Yeah. I think Jake has some sign. The same things I feel about Jalen Brooks. I think Jalen Brooks even showed me some stuff better than Tolbert. Tolbert, I'm just not seeing him winning one-on-one. It's
wait. Slow down. Let me make sure I got this right.
Yeah.
You said you've seen more from Jalen Brooks than Jalen Tolbert?
Yeah, I mean the signs. You get my point. Not necessarily like the production and the timing. I mean the signs like you see from Jake Brooks in the first year he played. You remember the jump, the one that he
Jalen Brooks had 4 receptions last year. And look, I like Jalen Brooks, but
I
4 receptions. Jalen Tolbert took a big step last year to the point where he unseated Michael Gallup. So look,
I'm a Tolbert guy. I'm a Tolbert guy. I really hope he develops.
I'm just, in all honesty, I don't know what you could have possibly seen in 4 receptions. Where 3 of them were just catch and get down on the ground, and then the other one was a tip ball in the air. That's kind of tough, to say you've seen more from a guy who had 20-some receptions.
That's fair. That's fair. Sky, I'm with you. That's fair. I'm talking about his like from his college day to now. Maybe sometimes we see the from his college day to now.
Sure.
I feel like he's more like the what you call him, the jump ball guy. He's better jump ball guy.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not sure, but
don't sleep on Tolbert being jump ball guy in college either. If you're going back to college, he was fantastic jump ball guy. But yeah, Brooks is the bigger body wide receiver that you don't have. When we talked about needs, that was one of the concerns. You don't have the physical presence. I can't really count Brooks as that guy. Just he hasn't shown me enough to be like, yeah, that's our physical presence. But yeah, he can be jump ball guy.
How about in college, this guy? Do you think in college, you think Brooks can develop, or is he like he will be journeyman more like a fourth receiver?
I'm not gonna try to project him being more than that right now. It's just not enough in the pros for me to be like, yeah, this dude's gonna be wide receiver 2, right? Like I would love for him to develop into wide receiver 3, 4. If I'm basing it off of college, I mean, a lot of these dudes do great in college, but right now it's still a TBD on Brooks. I did like the few reps that we did see, and I think the arrow's pointing up. I just don't know how far up until we get the OTAs, camp, and preseason, then obviously the regular season. Way too early for me to put him up there just quite yet.
To project him.
To be fair,
okay,
you know,
I enjoy stuff. Yeah, exactly. I enjoy talking to you, brother. I hope you're back good to sleep. And Junior will be good.
I ain't getting no sleep.
I missed your Cowboy Nation.
No sleep. Man, I'm about to fall asleep on this show right now, and I'm having a good time. But damn it, my body is like, hey, wrap this thing up.
Especially yesterday with the yesterday it was wrestling event, right? I saw you tweeting yesterday or the day before.
Oh yeah, I'll have a lot of energy. I'll have a lot of energy for WrestleMania this weekend for sure.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, brother. And I say hi to Cowboy Nation, and hopefully everything will be fine this season, inshallah.
Appreciate you, Bandar. Enjoy your rest of your night. You night over there, right? You night?
Yeah, night. We are fasting now. We are in Ramadan, yeah. So it's night right now. I'm waiting just for breakfast right now. Okay.
All right, early morning then. Thank you, brother.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Goodbye, brother.
See ya. Good stuff from our guy Bandar. Boy, know what he talking about. Let's get to some super chats here, man. Where are we at here? 5. Boom, boom. I did a couple, I think, already. I got to Sully. Sully dropped 2. I missed the other one where he said Marv always start the call. I don't know. You basically said the same thing. Appreciate you, Sully. He dropped 10 and said kind of the same thing there. DB, Dwayne Brown dropped 10.
Super chat.
Said, great show. After thanking God for waking me up every morning and my family, you keep me alive at work in the morning. Thank you, DB. I was talking to our higher ups here at A to Z Sports. I think he just hinted actually to something on Mo's show. I don't want to speak for Mo, but I think we're going to switch things up for Mo a little bit where he's on 3 days a week and he'll create a video. But I was speaking to the higher ups and we were talking about the prime time, and I was just like, man, I remember when I was doing prime time. And part of me kind of misses it. You know, there's a different energy at night. But then I think about already establishing the morning slot. I love the morning slots because I can get in right now, start the day. I always say I feel like I gotta set the standard for Cowboys content, for Cowboys news or whatever, for the rest of the creators or shows, whether it be YouTube or whether it be radio or the big shows. I don't give a damn. I feel like I set the standard. I gotta set the standard at least. So that's why I try to bring it as much as I do. So I don't take the mornings lightly. I'll still be here in the mornings. I did bring it up. I was like, well, do you need? You know what? Never mind. Nah, I'm gonna rock the mornings. This is the flagship show. This is the flagship spot. I ain't going nowhere. I know y'all be pissed off if I leave the mornings, and I will not be. I will not be. But we're working on some different things to obviously continue to grow the program, continue to grow not just this show, but Mo's show and the channel in of itself. So just keep on rocking. Yes, please, DB, definitely support Mo. We're going to continue, like I said, to try to make that side grow. Toxic said that will break you. I thought about that, right? Like, I don't know. I see some people in the evenings on Mo's that can't partake in the mornings, and some probably partake in the morning that can't partake at night. I feel like we've established something here in the morning. I feel like we have established something. And I set out, my goal was to be the #1 Dallas Cowboys morning show. And I think we are definitely off on the right start. And Scott, you've been doing it for 3 years. I got a lot more years. So I think this is just a start. That's how I look at it. Thank you, T-Jack. Wow. My voice is starting to go, man. But let's go ahead, refresh this, then we go and hit the OTF. Bringing it back. I liked what we did the other day with it. We're going to continue to kind of try to get a good feel for OTF. All right, we good to go here. Thank you, Twyman. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, that's true too. I didn't think about that. He said Aaron said nighttime's crazy with the kids. See, I have to put myself back in basically like y'all's shoes. When I was working a different job, I would be at my desk, in the office, listening to Cowboy stuff in the morning, whether it be on the computer, whether it be earphone or something on my phone, as I'm working, getting shit done. Whether you're a driver, right? That's big. That's real. I had a program, right? I had a routine, and I feel like that would mess things up if I dipped out in the morning. So I won't do that. Let's hit up OTF, not only the family, but off the field. And like I said, because it's WrestleMania week, I want to stick to WrestleMania. Shouts out to The Rock. Heel Rock, Hollywood Rock, the final boss Rock, showed up to Philly, I guess a little late. He showed up to an event he had to do. And he got there, and like The Rock, he just knows how to go with the flow. Y'all know I can't stand Philly. None of us can stand Philly. We can't stand the city, can't stand the players, can't stand the team. Well, The Rock did us a service here. Check it out.
Are you sure? Yeah! You want to know? Yes! Why The Rock was late? What? He was watching YouTube. You're lying. Watching Jalen Hurts lose in the playoffs again. You boo because it's the truth. Now, The Rock has shown up. You got greatness in front of you. You stand there, shut your mouth, and enjoy the ride that The Rock is taking you on.
God, I love that. Told those filthy Eagle fans I was late because I was watching Tush Push losing the playoffs. Oh, tomorrow is going to be so much fun. So much fun. That's all I got for y'all for OTF. What I want to do with this, though, is I really want to kind of involve y'all with that. I involve y'all with everything because that's part of building a community. But if you see something worthy of being on OTF, off the field, hit me up. I'm not on Instagram all crazy, but I do have it. And if you need to send it via Instagram, just shoot it to my DMs. If you need to send it to me via Twitter, shoot it to my DMs or tag me like Sadiqa did. Sadiqa just tagged me in it. And just put in hashtag OTF or hashtag off the field. And now collect these things and we'll go ahead and we'll have fun with it. Maybe at some point we'll even do a OTF winner of the day. We'll do a couple and you guys vote. So just something different I'm trying to do. Like I said, I'm always throwing in different segments, trying to level up. And I think this could be fun to kind of go off the field because we know on the field, the Cowboys, it can piss you off a little bit. So we have a little fun off. All right. With that said, this is going to be it for this week. I will be back next week. The schedule could be similar to this week. We could be going Monday, Wednesday, Friday, one more time. I'll let y'all know for sure on Monday. I do know we will be rapping with Foots. I'm gonna rap the Vach. Might have Vach on too if he's down. I know he's mad busy. He got a lot of things going on with his channel and having all the guests. We'll try to get on. I was trying to talk to 2i to get her on as well because it's draft season. So we're trying to really dive into the draft. And I want to make sure I set those shows up appropriately. The next thing you know, man, we'll be in the draft. We are preparing right now for a Vach, Foots, myself to handle day one. So we're in preparation for that. And next Friday, I know Vach ain't teased it yet. He usually does all the teasing. Next Friday, do I got my...
It ain't no thing to do my thing, it's what I did the best. Yes, I copped that crib and bought 2 chains and then I hit.
If you don't know what this means,
it's okay to do your thing, but just don't do the most.
You missing shows.
I put my friends in that old Benz and took that to the coast.
And that's a show you cannot miss.
It's what I do the best. I feel my
But we back next Friday. I'm going to reach out to the fellas at the round table. We might do something a little different with this one. I got to reach out to them. Anybody that was around for Around the Nation. I've been wanting to bring back Around the Nation for like the last 3 years. I haven't done it since I've joined A to Z. I think it would be fantastic to bring it back with the round table next Friday. And then we got a couple more weeks. Maybe we can get a couple more Around the Nation. Around the Nation was so much fun. I had an absolute blast knowing that. And I want to do it again. It's unique. It's different. You don't really see it happening in the community. And I think it'd be fun to involve everybody in the community like we did before. So with that said, man, let me go ahead and press this button and get up out of here. If you didn't catch what I just was talking about, round table next Friday. Me, Foots, Okoye, Law, Vach. We back. We got y'all covered.
Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button.
I ain't mess up this time. No, Cowboys vet. He not moving on, brother. We just want to make it better, you know. The name of that song, let me see if I got you, Oscar. It's on Epidemic Sounds. It's called The Most. Appreciate y'all, Cowboys Nation. Love y'all. Great week, great show. If you missed it, make sure y'all run it back. I'll holler at y'all. Follow me on Twitter for all WrestleMania talk this weekend. Love y'all. Peace. Roundtable is usually on Vach, Law. We might even have it on Foots' channel too, but it'll be on 2 or 3 of the Roundtable.
is cooking.
Hey, Roman Reigns said, hey, Hulk Hogan, we want that record.